Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Friday developer live stream here at TrionWorlds for ArcheAge. I tried to switch it up a little bit, make it a little different, throw Merv off of his game, because he's hanging out over on the other side there. And I got Sophie, too. It's Sock, it's Crolin.
Hello.
How are you guys doing?
We're doing good. How are you doing?
I am doing quite well. I am a married woman now, as everyone's screaming in chat. So,
Congratulations.
thank you. And thank you, chat, as well. I really appreciate that. And I'll also add in now, I will be gone on my honeymoon next week, so you guys won't see me next week either. But we'll be back after that. We have a small update to do, right? It's like
Just a little one.
couple megs,
Yeah,
something like that.
nothing big.
So, no, seriously, Aeronor Eternal is coming up. It's coming very, very soon on June 7th. And today, of course, we're going to be talking about more Aeronor Eternal stuff, specifically regrading and crafting, and then Aeronor crafting. But before we get into that, I do want to mention that there is an event running right now on the live servers, and that's our Memorial Day event. So Memorial Day is going to go on for a little bit longer than you might anticipate, and it's going to be consisting of a bunch of double and then triple events, basically. So we're starting off with a double experience point and honor point event. That's going to be going between May 24th and May 30th. It's going to switch into a double experience and vocation badge event on May 31st into June 6th. And then finally, to wrap it off with the release of Aeronor Eternal, we're going into a triple experience, honor point, vocation badge, and loot drop event. And that's happening on June 7th through June 13th. So if you were chasing after those ancestral levels, it's a perfect time to do it. It's good. Like, you want to get in, you want to play, you want to experience all Aeronor Eternal has to offer, and you want to get ahead. But with that said, that's I just went, that's crazy. I know, it literally is crazy, and we can't wait to do it. What else is crazy is how much information we have today, and I don't want to waste any more time. Merv, what do we got? What are we opening up with today?
All right, we're going to jump in game, but Chad, I can't ignore you right now. I mean, I see those X's. You see what she's wearing.
Oh no!
You like my shirt.
I'm of mixed feelings about that shirt, to be honest with you. It's kind of cool and
It's
kind of like,
fantastic.
you know, every time I walk past, I'm like, well, there I am.
Well, I saw that picture on the producer's letter. I'm like, if, you know, in your lifetime you get to be on one t-shirt, this should be the t-shirt that you are on. But I also know that if I get it done for you, you're not going to wear it. So I made it for me, and I'm wearing it.
My only comment is it's a very ArcheAge thing to do. And with that, we'll move in game.
And it's very fitting.
What are
for the
those
topic.
X's for, Chad? What are you guys Xing for
They
right
want
now?
a t-shirt, I think.
You want that shirt? Can we do that?
I'll personally, if you're down for it, I'll go make one. Like,
All right, this is not planned at all. Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay, give him another second. We're gonna give
I
away.
need to know. Okay, whoever is the winner though has to like tell you, Celestrata, what size you're wearing, and if it's a male or female shirt, and I'll go get it printed for you.
Oh my god!
It's totally not a thing that's for sale. It was
it-
supposed to be a troll.
Is the title of this giveaway just Merv shirt?
I no, it would be Crolin's shirt because that's a
Mervborn.
No,
Mervborn.
it's not
We're calling it
Mervborn.
Mervborn.
Please, no Mervborn.
We're calling it Mervborn. It's done now.
Oh yeah, and you should also totally say if you want that signed or not, because I'll make him sign it if you want
Oh,
to.
come on.
Oh, this is amazing.
This is not planned. We should be talking about the great content in 3.5 right now. So let's just finish Xing up for this, I don't know, kind of weird shirt.
Except for Mervborn.
Except for Mervborn. There it is. Oh, it's in chat. It's wonderful.
Okay, we're just going to give away one of them because this is literally not planned. But
No.
obviously we can have a shirt
Yeah.
printed, I guess. I don't know how
You
you got
gotta,
that
yeah,
done.
I know. I'll go to the same people that made mine, so just gotta give me a couple days to actually get it made first.
All right, I'm rolling.
Okay, here we go.
Ooh.
All right. The winner is Toxic
Toxic
Most NA.
Grats.
Congrats, Toxic Most NA. I
I
wonder
will
what you're going to
whisper
do
you
with that
right
shirt.
now.
But congratulations. Okay, totally unplanned. That's the thing that happened. And, you know, that's chat's suggestion, so good on you guys. All right, let's move forward. We're going to talk about our 3.5 update, Aeronor Eternal. This is the update that you guys will be receiving on June 7th. We've been talking about a lot of content in this update over the last couple weeks, most notably the new zones that are available in the southwest part of Aurora. We talked about trade and conflict last week. This week we will talk about regrading and crafting. We'll also talk about Aeronor gear. We'll talk about what's happening with wisps. a couple other conversion things in there, and then some general good to knows. At the end of the stream, we will be giving away hoodies, so stay tuned for that. Without further ado, on your screen right now, you should see Sock on our internal server, and she is demoing Aranor gear for the first time. That wing glow that you see there is being granted because she has a full set of the gear. Pretty cool visual. Definitely some bragging rights associated with that. This is our last week that we're going to be on our internal server. Next week, it is our intent to stream live from PTS. So if that's any indication on when PTS might open, you know, you guys can plan accordingly. But for now, PTS will not be open today. It's not quite ready. We do have a near final version of our release build, but we need a little bit more polish there before we turn it over to you guys for testing. So let's talk about regrading. Most notably, in the 3.5 up, wow, that is a beautiful inventory.
I prepared.
So much purple. You guys will notice that Sock has the Eternal buff in the upper left-hand corner. Something that players are not likely to get, but we thought we would just show it off because you can see how it looks, the stats that are associated with it, and the cool border and whatnot. In her inventory, she has a large amount of Aranor gear, weapons, and armor.
I'll show that later.
When she talks about Aranor gear, we will demo it so you guys can see how it appears visually. But to talk about regrading, so I mentioned that this is the first time we've ever added a new grade since the release of the product. So the Eternal grade sits on top of Mythic. You can see it there in the listing. Now, one thing to note that regrade rates have changed greatly in this update. And not only have the rates changed, the way that they're presented has changed as well. So we'll demo here. You can see the regrade window open on the screen. And the first thing to note is the grade axe that's in there right now is of unique grade. And you can see the percentage chance that you'll have to regrade it using a scroll. So the arrows are gone. The cryptic up arrow system has been replaced with the legitimate percentage that's there. Now, there's an article on our website that was released that kind of details what these percentages are like and recaps a lot of the information that we're going over today. So if you need to follow along there, that's probably the best place to do it. But this was really an awesome change for us. We're happy to have received it. Now, if you intend to use a charm, let's say we'll use a yellow charm with that great axe. You can see that the success chance is modified when the charm is in the window. So if you were to swap that to a red charm now, not that you would necessarily use a red there, but maybe you would, you can see that the percentage goes up based on the charm that's there. So when we looked at charms previously, you read it and it's like increases whatever by
1.5.
by
Yeah.
2.0. And you assume that means double chance, but you didn't know what the base chance was to begin with, so it's kind of nebulous. But now you can see the percentages, and that's pretty solid. So we'll throw a couple other items in there, and just so you can get a feel for that.
Yeah. What's important to note is also that items are separated into 3 different categories on how easy it is to regrade. The easiest category of things to regrade are things like dungeon drops. You saw that Serpentis item that I had. Those are going to be the easiest one to regrade. The second category are things like the crafted gear, the Aurora, the lost faded weapons and stuff go into that category too. So this is an example of an easy regrade. For the same, I have here an Ethereum Life Grade Club at the same grade. So you see the chances a little bit, it's a little bit harder for that.
So let's talk about that a little bit more in depth. You mentioned that there's 3 categories of regrading. And for just terms, we've called that easy, medium, and hard. I know, real original, right? But all of those rates, when compared to the 3.0 version, are largely increased. So for example, in the 3.0 current version, at Arcane grade, it might be about 30% chance that it's going to succeed. In the new version, it would be more like 65% on the easiest tier. All 3 tiers, easy, medium, and hard, in the 3.5 version are generally better, easier to regrade than the way it sits right now. So those of you in chat who are like, wow, that is a lot of gold to regrade that there, it's because the success chance is greatly increased from before.
It's called...
go ahead.
Sorry.
I was going to say it's called hard, but really even hard is easier in most cases.
Yeah.
It's the only one that's like barely not, but like only at the very end of the spectrum, you know, when you're doing the mythic or bust.
Right.
And I mean, some of those changes include, like, in the easy mode, the easy tier, you can regrade at the basic, and rare grades with 100% success
Oh, that's even
chance.
the normal. So like regular crafted gear at the Grand and Raid are like 100% success chance with a regular scroll, no charms, anything. Arcane for the regular items is like a 50% chance without any charms or anything, so it's much easier.
Yep. So when you guys are on PTS, you'll be able to see those percentage changes for yourself, and the way that you interact with them is up to you. Another item of note is this: the Eternal Grade is also applicable to ship components that are able to be regraded, and to pet accessories. Charms also work on these components, so that's a huge deal. You'll see that there's a Divine Triangle rig currently in there with a ship component scroll. It exposes the percentages and then also shows you, the effect that a charm would have there. That is a huge deal.
Yeah, same for, you said the pet accessories work the same way
Yep,
now,
pet
right?
accessories work the same way.
We should also note here, by the way, that pet and ship accessories have their own charts, and they don't conform to the easy, medium, and hard that we just explained. So they have their own path.
Do
Just
it.
to do it
Quick.
on this piece, a superior. Oh, I guess. Whoa!
Tap it again.
Tap it again. Okay.
Yeah, you can see how I interact with this stuff. Keep going. Okay, one more. 35%.
Let's get it
You got this.
eternal. Come
You got
on.
it. Come on.
Eternal.
Oh.
I tried. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
so,
there's that. Did we address so for the hard, the considered hard armor and gear is obsidian, boss drops, world boss drops such as like the Red Dragon Nodachi or Thunderwing Titan. Those are considered the hard ones to regrade.
and a lot of that is because the item quality is generally delivered at a higher grade. That would be
Right.
for raid dropped gear, open world raid drop gear. In Obsidian, because it maintains its grade for a longer period than
Yeah.
crafted gear does, and we'll go into that when we talk about some of the changes to crafting. But big takeaways on this are that the percentages are exposed. You can see the impact of charms, and that ship components and pet accessories can also be improved to the
charms.
Eternal tier.
We should also note, because inevitably this thread will be made on the forums as it already has been, but just because it says 75% doesn't mean you might always succeed. These things are it's still probability at the end of the day, so
Yeah.
you could just have a bad luck day
And there
in
definitely
RNG.
are bad streaks. So.
I just like
Yeah,
the
or good
idea
luck
of
day.
like you
They-
can visually see your chances now. You know what you're getting yourself into when you hit
Yes.
that button. So
I had to look at my notes real quick. One of the things that I saw as a question that came up on the forums was, we'll talk about the WISP system being gone, but since we're talking about regrade, it's appropriate to bring it up now. When you destroy a piece of equipment, weapon, armor, or accessory due to a catastrophic regrade failure, Archeum will be the currency that's returned.
Mhm.
So previously there were conditions where you could acquire Wisps. Now that's Archeum.
Yep.
Okay, so I think that's the high-level takeaway from this. Again, this will be on PTS next week. You guys can try it out. Generally, for me, it feels better. Like the sheer amount that this is easier to regrade is just inspiring, and especially for folks who had, kind of got stuck in that middle tier of regrading, it's greatly increased for you guys. For crafted weapons and armor have different implications, and it will lead into that a little bit later. And that kind of is why this is easier. But generally, more people should be able to engage in it. You should have to regrade fewer times, although the investment in regrading is increased from where it is online. So let's talk about crafted gear.
yes, so since we already started nudging at wisps, let's talk about wisps. Let me go ahead and confirm in 3.5 wisps will be removed. So what that means for you, if you have leftover wisps, there's two things that you can do with them. Each wisp you can either turn into Archeum. So if it's for if it's an armor wisp, it's going to be Moonlight. If it's a weapon wisp, it's going to be Sunlight. Jewelry is going to be Starlight crystals. So you can turn that into that if you would like. If you don't want to do that, you still have the option to reforge the leftover wisps that you have into a relevant item. So this over here is my 100% legit Mirage Isle. I don't want to go and port over there. So pretend this is Mirage Isle, okay? You port it in. All your NPCs that you know are there. If you go down the stairs in Mirage, on the left-hand side, you will see a new item called the Mirage Salvage Forge. If you walk up to that forge, it will give you the options to still reforge all your leftover wisps. And from what I've seen, it's the same amount that you use right now. Excuse me. So your leftover wisp, you can either still reforge into items or you can turn them into Archeum, whichever you prefer. So,
I'm just entranced by your existing this Mirage Isle replica, complete with Daru sign and donkeys over there that you can buy or something.
And the car to test drive.
It's beautiful. Basically perfect.
Basically the same,
What does chat think? You guys think this is a good representation of Mirage Isle? Because I'm kind of convinced.
All we need is the composition workbench, and it looks great.
Yeah, that's true. But it's like literally next to that. Like literally next to the composition.
Wait, hold on. Is there an AFK dude in there?
Yes.
This is totally Mirage Isle. There's 2 AFK people there. Okay.
They're in a Dominion. They're hiding.
Oh, wow. Really?
Alright, so Mono Wisps. Now, the other thing with Mono Wisps, some of you might have private forges that you made for your crafting houses or whatnot. I am one of those people. With those, there's 3 things left that you can do. You can either keep them as a decor item. The recipe for it will be removed after 3.5, so you can't craft them anymore. So it could be like a legacy decor item that you're keeping, which I will do. You can also sell it to a vendor, but the value of it is kind of meh compared to what you can do as a third option. It's 15 gold to a vendor. You can also, the placed ones, interact with and get your Thunderstruck tree back. So if you're like, because it's, kind of a big investment, you can go ahead and interact with it and get your Thunderstruck tree back. There it is. And there's that.
I was entranced by those wings. You did mention that you can just keep that for furniture, right?
Yes, you can keep them as furniture.
And the recipe's gone, so they can never be crafted again?
Yes, so it's like a cool memorial to crafting wisps kind of decor thing. I like them too. I like RPing like Mad Lab with those. So that's Mono Wisps. I'm going
to add one more thing. So the Mono Wisp conversion ratio, when you mouse over the Mono Wisp, it turns into Archeum. Yeah. And that's loosely based on the amount of Archeum that's needed to craft Obsidian in this update. Because since Wisps are gone, Archeum replaces that. Correct. And the conversion rate is based on that formula. Another item to mention is Wisps were used in the creation of the nation system.
Yes.
They were a huge component in one leg of the quest. The requirements there are now replaced with Archeum. I mean, you guys could have guessed that. And I'm not sure if you have the item in your inventory in this character. Yep. The Royal Seal design that was previously crafted using Wisps now requires just a very small amount of Archeum. Like 2 or 3 motes of Archeum to craft this thing.
Also a very small amount of Wisps previously, so...
Yeah.
Equally massive amount. Yeah, and you already said it. So for obsidian crafting, you used to use Mono Wisps to craft obsidian pieces. You now use Archeum. And I think that's about all for Mono Wisps.
Cool. What about traditional crafting in ArcheAge?
Let's go into the big one. So for crafting regular things, the biggest change about crafting your regular gear, I'm talking about like Illustrious, Delphinaut, Ionaut, all the way up to Aranor, is the opening the item after you get Illustrious Plus is there's no more RNG involved.
There's no more what?
There's no more RNG involved in crafting your items.
Can you say that again?
There's no more RNG involved in crafting your items.
One more time, just to drive it home.
There's no more RNG involved in crafting your items.
Say it with us, chat. What? No more RNG.
No more RNG. So, once you get on 3.5 when it's live, I went ahead and changed. You will see that all of those sealed items will be renamed to cloaked. And some of you guys might be already familiar with the term cloak. Cloak means when you click it, you get a choice of which item you would like, pick it, and uncloak it, and that's it, and that's that. Now, another cool thing that comes with 3.5 is transmuters. Transmuters are crafted and are fairly cheap. Take some sturdy ingots, some earth mana leaves, a little bit of proficiency. You can get that with the Dawn's Drop set. To craft those, and then once you craft those, you can recloak any of your crafted items. So if you are running around with your Divine Ionaut Gale Jerk and you're like, okay, I kind of feel like Flame now, you can recloak it with the Transmuter. And then after that, first of all, it keeps its grade, And you can just uncloak it as anything else you'd like. Let's go with flame.
So wait, if I'm hanging out and I buy a new piece of armor off the auction house, and it's
Yes.
like a Delphinod Gale, and I hate Gale, right? I never use Gale. I love my Earth. So I can just immediately cloak it once I buy it off the auction house,
Correct.
and just make it Earth.
Yep.
I think you should just keep it Gale though. Probably just roll Prime.
So yeah, that's really cool. And you can do this as many times as you want. There's no limit to it. You just have to craft a transmuter and cloak it, uncloak it as much as you want. I saw people were asking about the grade. Yes, the grade stays. Doesn't matter how many times you cloak it, how many times you recloak it and uncloak it.
Really easy to respec. Yes, you do lose gems.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
So that's the only case where I can think somebody would not want to just go ahead and seal it if you have a lot of gems and Lunafrost and whatnot in there. But yes, like literally all the RNG is gone in upcrafting. You can go to Ionod pretty much no problem now, which is the first thing I will do
And
once
so-
3.5 goes live.
I mean, I see chat calling it out, and there are some great things and
Yes.
some also kind of shocking things about the
Yes.
system. Right now, we're talking about one of those great things.
Okay.
When you upgrade this gear piece, it has to be at a certain grade.
Yes.
And the grade depends on the tier that you're trying to upgrade to. It can range anywhere from Arcane to Divine. Divine required for Ionod if you're upgrading to the Aeronor tier.
Yeah.
The grade of the item is really important for the purposes of upgrading, and you always need to reseal the item before you upgrade it. Now, when you do upgrade the item, are you ready? I'm going to say it.
Yes.
Chat. When you upgrade the item, the grade is returned to basic.
Yeah.
That's a very important thing because currently when you upgrade items, they keep their grade. But in the new system, it returns to basic. That sounds very shocking. I know that when we heard this from the XL team originally, I like borderline walked out of the room. I was like, what are you explaining to me right now? And can you do it more slowly and also like 5 more times? Because I can't handle what I'm hearing right now. It's a drastic change. It really is. It's a massive way that we've always looked at the way that items are in ArcheAge. But when you start to think about the change and what it impacts, so we have this term end of life for an item. That's a tiered item that you, in the current 3.0 system, unseal and say it rolls life, and that's the thing that you wanted. We'll use life sleeves as an example. You would regrade that all the way up to legendary, and in the current system, you would have no option to reseal that and push it to Delphinol.
Right.
It would just say Ethereum for the rest of its life. You would use it for whatever purposes you wanted, and it would contribute to your total buff. You do have the option to upgrade it in the 3.5 system. That doesn't mean you have to. It doesn't mean you're encouraged to. You can very happily keep that piece at that grade, at that tier, or maybe you just would not upgrade it to that point going forward. But you do gain the flexibility, if you want to take that item past its previous point where it could be considered end of life and upgrade it further. Mm-hmm. Now, if you guys are sitting on upgradable items that are of a high tier, it is in your best interest, probably, to upgrade them as deeply as you can before the 3.5 update. That's something that you should pursue right now. If it is an item that, at its end of life, you can make that decision after 3.5 to upgrade it or not. Again, the decision comes down to you. And I ask that you guys kind of look at that and try and wrap your heads around it. Also with the understanding that regrading is much easier. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. The reaction that you guys just put into chat is the same way I reacted when I first looked at this system. When it's on PTS and you can walk through it, see the ease of regrading, understand how it impacts your items, understand how it impacts how you will trade, buy, sell, gear, upgrade, whatever to your items in the future, it'll make a lot more sense. It's also very important to note that gear feeds into Aeronor equipment a certain way, and we'll go over that as soon as we move through crafting.
Like, honestly, and I can tell you that I'm a crafter on live, and I'm the kind of person that went on Fresh Start and pushed for her Ionot set. And I was shocked when I first saw that, but if you think about it, first of all, regrading chances are much easier. You can push it to Arcane, like, 0 effort. And then afterwards, there's no RNG involved. You don't spend any money or anything trying to get that specific piece that you want. You get what you want immediately. So I honestly experience this as being easier than that it was previously.
Yeah, I think like a lot of people are calling out like the mat increases or the gold increases, and they're all, you know, it's all definitely there. But at the same time, like when you're creating these items, they're going to last much longer than they used to. You're not breaking them, you're not switching them. You can get that tier item, and then if you should respec in the future, you can change it then, you know, and keep it with you. So in general,
a couple of people in chat mentioned Obsidian, and they ask,
it keeps
Obsidian retains its grade.
Yep.
This is largely impacts the core crafting system in ArcheAge, and that would be the items that were previously crafted as sealed that are now crafted as cloak.
Yes.
These are the tiers from apprentice to Aranor.
Yes.
It doesn't impact anything but those, really.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the main thing is since these are upgradable. It's kind of the compromise when it comes to RNG. Again, normally I try and spin things positively. Admittedly, I do that. I try and highlight the positive things in the system. You're allowed to feel however you want to feel about this. And again, I reacted exactly the same way you guys are when I first saw this. When you go through the system, you can make that decision for yourselves, absolutely. And if you disagree with it, then that's an important thing to communicate.
I see Resident just asked, still break past Celestial? Yes, Celestial will have the same like downgrade and break chance, and then past that it will break. You know, for a lot of things you're crafting, by the way, you won't be touching anything. Like the highest it goes is Divine, and that's to get to Aranor with tier gear. So for the most part, when you're upcrafting something, you're not going into breakable tiers.
Yeah,
and also there's still anchoring charts that you can use if you're worried about your Celestial piece breaking.
So I'm going to talk about something that is kind of related, but not entirely, and that's how new players interact with ArcheAge. You guys are constantly commenting on, you know, like what is the current state of the population in the game? What is, you know, how popular are servers? What's going on with that? One of the challenges that ArcheAge has had throughout its 3-year life now, nearing 3-year life on NA and EU servers, is that it's very hard for new players to interact with the system. It's very hard to pick up ArcheAge in its progressed state, jump in, and play alongside people who are deeply progressed. With the ease of regrading on items like dungeon gear or even crafting gear, it allows players to achieve that middle to lower upper tier with much more ease than they could previously. It was a huge roadblock for them, and they would quit, admittedly. They would just not be able to participate. In the past, we've done things like release Soulforged gear, and that has been supplemented the lower player experience and allowed them to catch up. This is also a system that really supports them. That's not the entire purpose of it, but it is a great side effect of it, that people who try ArcheAge out can jump into the game and play a little bit more competitively than they could previously. Yeah. So we have a lot more to talk about crafting. I noticed that you're standing on a armorer's house.
Yes.
What are the benefits of an armorer's house in 3.5?
That was another question. So the glowing items that you could previously get from crafting houses have been removed because there's no point in them anymore. What you can get now, so the big difference is if you go and craft your items at a regular workbench, they will always go back to basic when you craft it up to the next tier. With the house, you have the chance that at the upcraft, and it's a pretty good chance actually, that it will upcraft already to a regraded state. So if you are upgrading your Magnificent to Ethereum on a regular crafting station, it's 100% going to be basic. But if you regrade it on your armor's house, there's a good chance it might be grand or rare already when you upcraft it. So that's basically money that you save on regrading is what the house provides you. Also, the actual gold cost of crafting something is a little reduced on the house as well. So those are the two new benefits for the armor houses. No, the good chance is not 1%. It's actually about 50%.
I know someone in chat mentioned, you know, like, it's good to see you guys expressing your feelings around this, but one of the things that was mentioned is if we ever do fresh start servers again, the meta will change drastically, and that's absolutely true. And we're actually considering that when we do release the next iteration, Fresh 3.0, whenever that will be. I shouldn't say 3.0 because that's a version number, but the third fresh start servers. Whenever they come out, and they are within our roadmap for, you know, within the upcoming year. So this is definitely going to change the landscape there if that's something that interests you. Yeah. Now, there's a couple more things that we should talk about with crafting. That's the removal of Gilded Dust. Yes. We alluded to that previously, and you can go into a little bit more detail on that.
Gilded Dust?
Yep.
Okay, so yes, we addressed it briefly last stream. Gilded Dust will be removed with 3.5. It will be replaced mostly with charcoal. So if you are making your you're upcrafting your Cyntium stones, those will now require charcoal instead of gilded dust. If you are crafting your library costume, that will also take charcoal instead of gilded dust. So that is the biggest change. If you have gilded dust left over, at each community center in all the southern zones, there's going to be a specialty specialty workbench that you can craft the specialties for this local area using your leftover gilded dust. So you can still use it up that way.
A question from chat. I know that this was also brought up on the forums, but there are several ways to use gilded dust currently, not just with crafted gear. How does the removal of gilded dust impact Cyntium shards?
Didn't I just say that?
Well, I was reading chat instead of paying attention.
Yes.
Shame on me.
Charcoal instead of gilded dust when making your Cyntium stones. Yeah. Also, actually, before we move on with crafting, I also want to point out one thing you might have noticed while I was in the menu. So previously, for those of you who are familiar with crafting, before Illustrious, there used to be 5 tiers. Used to be Apprentice, Craftsman, Artificer, Artisan, and then Conqueror before you hit the Illustrious tier. To simplify the whole crafting thing, 3 out of those 2 tiers have been removed with 3.5. Left over, you'll be able to purchase Apprentice pieces on the armor merchants, just as you are able to right now. And then that crafts up into an Artificer piece, and then the Artificer piece crafts into Illustrious. Now, for those of you who have leftover Craftsman, Artisan, or Conqueror pieces, you will also be able to go back to that same workbench, that little salvage forge on Mirage Isle, and it will... Stop laughing at my Mirage. You will be able to upcraft those into the next best still relevant item. So if you have an Artificer shirt left over, you can upcraft it for 1 labor into an Artificer shirt, which is the tier right under Illustrious now. If you have a Artisan piece, you can upcraft it for 150 labor into a sealed Illustrious shirt. So if you have those left over, you can go ahead and craft that up in Mirage. And then, I think that's the majority of crafting. Let's talk about crafting Aeronor. So Aeronor is the new tier that's added after Ionod. You craft Ionod by, you need a couple things to craft it. The first and most notable item is a cloaked Ionod piece that you need. One new item that was added was the Ipnish Blessings. Ipnish Blessings can be crafted on the altar in Aegis Island. That's one of the new zones in Aurora, right here. There are events that you can participate in Aegis Island and Wellsong Harbor. By completing those events, you will get a mat, and that mat can be crafted into those Ipnish Blessings.
And those mats are, I believe, acid and armor, right?
Correct.
Armor pieces,
you get acid gobbets, and cursed armor scraps. You can combine 200 of those into 1 acid vessel or a completed cursed armor, which is 2 out of the 3 pieces that you need in crafting the blessings. So it's very much, so that system kind of reminds me of like the Kadoom. You go kill Kadoom and you get the bark from him and you use it to craft tier 7. It's kind of similar to that. You complete those events in Aegis Island and Wellsong, you get those that you can craft into acid vessels. And then this blessing is, those blessings are the new items, crafting items for Aeronor.
So I have my Divine Ionod
Yes.
recloaked piece. I also have my blessing. What else do I need?
You need the average things that you would expect to crafting Aeronor. You'll need some Archeum, you'll need some pigment, some oils, and you'll need some blazing. Blazing was the tier of there's leather, lumber, cloth, all the ones that you know when you craft those at the territory workbenches in the castles. So that's all you need. Gold. You need 180k proficiency to craft Aeronor. And just one more thing of note, you actually have to be the Ancestral level 1 at least to be able to equip Aeronor. So those are the requirements for you. You can craft it, of course, but if you're not Ancestral level 1, you won't be able to equip it.
And people are like, what does that mean? And Ancestral level 1 is a new skill progression system that we'll go over next week. Quilladon will be on the stream and he will be talking about those abilities and what it means to level your Ancestral skills. But yeah, that's a requirement for to wear Aeronor gear.
And Aeronor is the same as the previous the Illustrious to Ionod tier. Once you craft it, it will be reverted to basic. So you'll get a basic Aeronor piece when you upcraft. So one big thing that you notice once you craft it is that you don't get a cloaked new item. And that's simply because there is not a choice of items. You won't have like those 7 different Aeronor pieces that you can choose from, Aeronor Flame or Aeronor Gale. Aeronor is one item, and it works a lot like a synthesis system. So the way you raise its grade is by feeding it more stuff, exactly like synthesis. And it will give you a basic, stat when you first craft it, and you can get up to 3 stats as it goes.
Let's go back to that Aeronor piece real quick. I mean, the first thing that I noticed when I look at this is that is a load of gem slots. So in the 3.5 update, the Mythic and Eternal grades of gear gain additional gem slots. So that will move Mythic gear from 7 to 8 slots and Eternal gear to 9 slots. That's on chest.
Yes. Good question from chat. You do not have to wash it. Yes. A lot of it is very similar like synthesis, but this you actually don't have to wash. So let's try to get it up a little bit. So if you're trying to higher its grade, you're going to feed it basically the same slot kind of item. So if you're working on a jerkin, you can feed it other chest pieces. The only requirement on that is it has to be at least the same grade. So on my basic item, I can literally feed it any other chest piece and it will take it. For weapons, I've seen that it's like very liberal. Like you can feed it 2-handed weapons, great clubs. This is an Aeronor Nodachi and I can feed it a great club. So it accepts a wide variety of items, and the items itself usually will have a little note on it, I think, saying that you can fuse it in. Yeah.
So what else about Aeronor items?
So Aeronor items also have a new set of Lunafrosts that are gonna come with it. From what I understand, the regular Lunafrost will not be able to be slot on Aeronor items, but there will be new Lunafrost that you can craft, and those actually also give set bonuses. So depending on how many of those frosts you have on different pieces, you get set bonuses. Yeah.
You also get bonuses just for slotting it.
Oh
general,
yeah, of course,
too.
yes,
Yeah.
of course.
Okay, I also looked, saw from live chats, somebody mentioned those wings. We mentioned earlier in the stream that the wings are from having a full set of Aeronor gear.
Oh.
Now, what does Aeronor gear look like?
Okay, let's do a little fashion show.
And actually, while you go over, can you glide over? Because people want to see the wings plus glider.
Oh, I don't think I have a glider. I don't have a glider equipped, you guys.
No.
I'm sorry. But I mean, we're not too far away. I'll find a way to show it to you guys, maybe in next stream or something.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do a fashion show, I guess. So what I'm wearing, you've been seeing me around, around is a Aeronor letter set.
Do we have variants of the male appearance?
Yes. Hello, friend. If you would be so kind to show off the letter set for us, please. They're busy dancing. Oh, I just got a glider. Awesome. Thank you. Ew.
It's wings and wings.
Wings
You're getting
and
a lot
wings
of
and
gliders.
wings.
Lucky you.
I want to have wings now. Yeah. Pretty. Alright, let's do fashion show. So what I'm wearing right now is the letter set. Which is, this is the letter set on male, I think. Yeah.
And if you also want to see that, that's on your shirt.
That's also what's on my shirt. Letter set. Next, let's show the cloth set. What's that here? Yeah, that looks like cloth. So this is what the full cloth set looks like. Oh, I totally forgot to toggle the helmet. I'm so sorry. I never wear stuff on my head, on my characters, but it comes with a really fancy hat too.
Okay, weapons.
Weapons. Wait, there's a plate set, so let me put on, oops, I don't need to
Yeah.
to you. Sorry. I'll put on the plate set and then I'll show the weapons.
Okay.
light set. Alright, so what I'm holding right now actually is sword and shield. Shield, sword,
Wow, that sword
light
is bright.
set. Look how badass I look.
That's pretty badass.
So badass. Alright. Dagger. Katana. Axe. Club. And so-
Whoa. That's really awesome.
really cool. Short spear. There you go. Scepter. Now let's go do the two-handers. Oh no, there's nothing. Nodachi. And then great sword. Great axe.
Wow, nice.
Great club. Really cool. Long spear. And then lastly staff. There are weapons of course too. Oh, there's the bow by the way.
So do they come complete with that beautiful purple glow?
No, that's unfortunately, that comes once you hit Eternal.
Aranor
This is the
instruments?
flute,
Nice. I know some folks were asking about those.
and this is the loot.
Very pretty.
Flute and the loot. And there's also Aranor accessories. Also, there will be Aranor cloaks introduced, so if you're ready to upgrade your Ionot cloak, you can hit Aranor now with that as well.
You don't happen to have one of those on you, do you?
Kaladin, can you give me an Aranor cloak? I don't have one on me.
You have
Oh,
everything.
I have one on me. Wait. Hopter.
You have to shut all your glows and
I
wings and all your
know.
beautiful stuff off.
Cloak.
Pretty.
And the one that I'm wearing right now is the Flaming Bastion cloak. Yeah. And look how nicely it sits on the back, by the way.
Nice.
Yeah, it really looks good.
Yep.
So anything else to talk about Aranor gear?
I think we covered everything. If you guys,
Yeah,
by the
I
way, have any
know.
questions about any of this, any of the numbers, any of the regrades, any of the experience point values, we have it all on the website for you to read. So
Yeah. I'm sure
drop
there's a
by.
million questions, but
How do I
there's
get
the
to
article.
be like you and just say, I want an Aranor cloak, and then they just start to appear in my inventory? How does that happen?
You have to pray to Clowny. You have
No,
to
okay,
embrace
I'm done.
Clowny in your life, and Clowny's little helpers will come to you.
That's immediate nope for me.
There's a really good question, which is from Excel, which is how will Wisp changes affect the Ionod earring quest line?
Oh. I assume it's going to be replaced with Archeum, but I can definitely look at that to make
We can
sure.
read check.
I mean, it's a safe assumption that is the conversion. You know, it's pretty much everywhere that Whisper use, Archeum will be used instead.
Just like Gilded to sort of charcoal in many
Yes.
places.
Yep. And I mean, there are a lot of mats in ArcheAge. I saw some comments from chat that this is really confusing. I mean, some of the changes are geared to simplify the mat structure that's required to build this stuff, because there is just a whole lot of stuff.
Yep.
Okay, a couple more things. I have some questions written down from chat. If you guys have further questions, I mentioned before, let's try and get them into an answerable format on the forums. Obviously, we can't answer everything here. Some of the stuff that we don't know the answer to. But one question that keeps cycling in chat, and it's not an intentional dodge. It was actually on our list to mention last week, and that's holler follow changes. Typically, when you guys bring stuff up in chat, I'm going to address it if I have the ability to do so. If I don't know the answer to, I may hold off on then, but I will also offer my best guess at it as well. Specifically for holler follow, we will adopt the Korean version of that in the 3.5 update. That means that you will purchase an item from the general merchant. It will enable the follow ability, and the innate ability to follow on haulers will be disrupted. So I believe you're moving to the general merchant now to show off what that looks like.
It will be this item right here.
And while we're moving to, by the way, Quilladon just confirmed that yes, quests that require Wisps now require Archeum.
Yeah.
So
There
that
you go.
includes the Earring quest.
So that is confirmation that we will adopt the Korean holler follow version. Again, if you guys want to bring that up, I'm going to tell you exactly what I know about it, and I have no intent to not address a thing. So please continue to bring stuff up like that. But I see people Xing up. That probably means it's close to 2:15 Pacific time right
Is
now,
it?
and I think you guys want some hoodies. We're going to be giving away 2 different types today.
Let me take off those wings to make it too many sparkles.
The types of hoodies we will be giving away are the Crimson Kings hoodie and the Flame Wolves hoodie.
This is the Crimson King, and this is the Flame Wolf. This is the Blue Devil.
The Crimson King is the version that comes out of the Marketplace crate. The yellow version is the loyalty token one, and the blue one is for credits. So we will give away the 2 harder to get versions. We're going to give away 5 of each. So let's roll first for the Crimson Kings hoodies. 5 of those. Let's go.
People have been waiting on this.
First one goes to Hiker Freak. Congratulations, Hiker Freak.
You're gonna have a hoodie for your hike now.
Number 2 goes to Nasty Sakis. Number 3 goes to Moirana. Congratulations, Moirana. And number 4 goes to Gen Dragon. This is for the Crimson Kings hoodie that you see on the screen there. Number 4 went to Gen Dragon. And the final Crimson Kings hoodie goes to Aeoni Sniper. Congratulations, Aeoni Sniper. We're going to give away 5 more now. These are the Flame Wolves hoodies. First one goes to Arianwen75.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Is that who I think it is?
She should say something.
We'll see. We'll see if it comes up. So that one's a hold. Let's move on to the number 2. That is going to be
Shiloh
Tiri. Shiloh Tiri.
Congrats!
Congratulations, Shiloh Tiri. The number 4 Flame Wolves hoodie goes to
Brandon. Brandon I.
Congratulations, Brandon I. Number 3 goes to Devlin Scissorhand with
Yay!
underscores. Congratulations,
Devlin
Scissorhand. Number 4 goes to XXD's Nuts. That is somebody's name, okay? I didn't just say that to you guys. That is somebody's name.
They should have seen it
The
in
number
chat.
4 hoodie goes to XXD's Nuts.
So you can cover these nuts with a hoodie.
Yep, and okay, the 5th one went to Ariane Wen, and I just want confirmation that that is somebody who...
It is our QA manager, so yes, you do have to re-roll that one.
So, since, the other Tryon streams, whenever an employee, Tryon employee is in chat and wins a giveaway, they end up giving away more stuff. So we're going to do that here. We're actually going to triple that hoodie slot, so we'll give away 3 more of those.
Nice. The Flame Wolf or the Crimson King?
This is for the Flame Wolf hoodie, since that's the one that was won by Ariane Wen. Sparky96 gets one, and we have 2 more to give away after that. Red 8 Nose, congratulations on your Flame Wolf hoodie. And the last and final hoodie goes to Crow Punch, but you better not. Don't punch me.
Crow Punch. Punch him.
Do not crow punch me, but congratulations on your hoodie. So those are our giveaways for today's guys, and I think that kind of wraps us up. Closing remarks, Celestrata?
There's a lot of numbers that were thrown around today. Check the website if you want to learn more about all those numbers, because they're actually on the website. We have so much information in that article. You should go read it. Yeah,
it's exceptionally detailed, and it does recap all of the percentages, and really kind of lays out that format for you guys. And that's important. So next week we'll be talking about ancestral skills. It is our intent to deliver you that stream live from PTS. And yeah, if you guys have any questions that come up about the stuff we talked about, please
go and
bring
try
that
it
up
out
to
on
us.
PTS. Please, I know the crafting thing can be really intimidating, but please try it out. Make your opinion once you see it. Yeah.
Again, PTS is not available right now, but it's our intent to bring it up next week for you guys. Information about the car, we did talk about that in a past live stream. I won't go over it now. The confirmation is yes, it will come out with 3.5. There are 3 versions of it, and we did show it off on a past stream. So check out the stream archive if you missed out there. But other than that, I'd really like to thank you guys for joining us today. It's another great week talking about 3.5, and I look forward to seeing you next week. So have a good weekend, good extended weekend for those of you who are in NA. Take care.
Have a good weekend.
Bye, guys.